I was the essence of laziness growing up, especially in high school, right? No matter what I had to do regarding work, if it was little or small, did not matter. I was pushing it to the last minute and procrastinating as hard as I could. And you know that this did not go over well with my mom. But I was able to completely turn this around and become more productive than anybody I know personally my age. And you can do the exact same thing faster than I did it if you just follow my journey and approach. Now, productivity is something that a lot of people shoot for, and you probably are too, since you're on this video. If you didn't, and you're not, I don't know why you're here. But regarding productivity, laziness is the single biggest opponent. Laziness can make you essentially useless at getting work done unless you can do one of two things, which I did both of, to create a productive life for myself and a productive mindset. Right? The first is to eliminate laziness at its core and solve the core issue itself. And the second is to make your laziness work for you, not against you. And both of these are very, very useful for making yourself productive. First, to eliminate laziness at its source. Right? When I first tried to do this, I figured out that there were two reasons that were actually causing me to be lazy in the first place. The first one being that I just didn't think the work was worth the amount of time and effort that it was going to take to do it. And two was I didn't have a persisting why. Laziness as a whole is actually a natural response to just avoid doing things that we think aren't worth it. Right? It was to save energy back in the day. But now there are a lot of tasks that you have to do whether you like it or not, that sometimes you're just not going to see as worth it. You have to adopt the mindset and become of the mindset that the work is there for a reason, and that by doing it and making yourself actually do the work even though you don't want to, you're either going to learn something about yourself or about the work itself and what direction you need to go to further on in your goals, in your pursuits, in your work endeavors, right? Whatever it is, you're going to learn something by doing that work. So adopting the mindset that you are going to learn and grow from the work makes it a lot easier to do the things that we deem as not worth it. Now, the reason I took years to actually take action in pursuing my dreams and interests was because I didn't actually have a persisting why. And what this means is you need a real reason to do work, right? For a majority of people who are stuck in jobs that they don't like, right, the reason is their salary. But when you're doing work for yourself, you need a real reason and goal that actually gives you and ignites passion in you and makes you drive towards that goal. And passion can come from not wanting something, like not wanting to be broke, not wanting to have to deal with financial burdens, or it can come from wanting something like the idea of being able to travel wherever you want, right? Whatever strikes a passion in you towards a specific line of work, good or bad, right? Wanting to avoid or obtain, you need that to drive you to do the work, right? When I looked at my first goals and I had the goal that everybody has at the beginning, right? 10K a month. I looked at that goal and I asked myself, why do I actually want this? And the answer was, I don't, right? The answer was, social media has glorified this number and made it a number that everybody wants to hit. Because nobody's going to say no to 10K a month. But that wasn't truly my goal, right? When I was making no money, my goal at the start is to just make a couple thousand a month, right? 2,000 or 3,000 a month would change the game for me at the start. Right? That's a goal that I could get behind and I could see the impact that it was going to have on my life. But having never made 2 or 3K a month, 10K a month didn't really mean anything to me. Right? It was just something that all the gurus online said. It wasn't something that I came up with that I truly wanted or desired, and I couldn't see the impact that it was going to have on my life the same way that I could see the direct change that $2,000 or $3,000 a month to use would. So I had to reset, take a step back, and give myself the real why for a lower bar. And that's okay, right? Because that's the goal that I was truly going to be willing to drive for and push for and be passionate about. So ask yourself why you want the goals that you do, and maybe make adjustments based on your answer to those. If you find that your answer is kind of hollow and not really imbued with you in it, right? It doesn't have your personality and your interests involved in it, then reform the goal so that it fits these interests and gives you passion. This is what I did to completely eliminate laziness from my mind when it came to my goals and my work and everything in that realm, right? Macro and micro. All I needed was to truly find a why and to adopt the mindset that since I already have this why and I know what I'm doing the goal for, the little bits of work that I don't want to do are going to teach me something about myself or the work itself, and they're going to better me in the long run, so I might as well do it, right? These are the mindsets that I had to live by and adopt to actually become productive and make a real change. And you can do this exact same thing. Now, let's shift and talk about having your laziness work for you, because this is the area that made a lot of change in my ability to get a lot of work done quickly later on, once I had already solved those first two issues. Now, if you have big goals and you tend to just be a lazy person, even though you have gone through and you have legitimate reasons and whys for pursuing your goals and doing the work, right? Then you're kind of similar to me when I just don't get enough sleep, right? All my reasons just seem to go out the window because I'm tired and groggy. But how I went about fixing this issue was by creating and setting deadlines. And bear with me on this topic. When I was in high school, literally the only assignments I did were the important ones, right? The papers, the tests, and the projects. That's it. Everything else was kind of out the window and not really of importance to me. But when I did these projects, every single time without fail, I would push to the limit based on how much I thought the project or work was actually going to take. And I would push it to the limit of the deadline that was given. And because of this, I would get massive amounts of work done in a couple hours because of that deadline, even though I did not care about the work. Right? In high school, I didn't care about the work at all. But because that deadline was set and I had a couple hours of work before me, I could just sit down and work for a couple of hours straight and do the work, get it done, and put out quality work. Now I've taken that same principle and used it to leverage my time to force myself to work and make legitimate progress. Right? I have set big goals and make deadlines for them. Right? So say I want to make 7 videos in 2 days, right? I want to spend 1 day scripting them and 1 day recording them, and I have that deadline set. And if I fail that, then I have to double the work, right? That's my penalty that I will hold myself to because I'm holding myself accountable, right? If you make a deadline and you don't hold yourself accountable, it doesn't matter. Right? In school, if you didn't turn things in on the deadline, right, you would get a 0 or you'd fail. In this instance, force yourself to do more work or take something out of your life. Make somebody else hold yourself accountable if it's really that much of an issue, but have them hold on to something that you would use and indulge in or that would be gratifying for you, and just have them take it away from you if you don't hit that goal by your deadline. Right? Make these deadlines real to you. If you're doing something that's more legitimate, like in a business, then actually make real deadlines, right? I think Dan Coe talks about this, where when he makes a digital product, he sets up the pre-sale, he gets everything ready, the landing page ready, before he actually makes the progress. And then once he sees that people are buying it Right now, he's forced to create a whole product by the deadline. It's the same type of principle here, but on a smaller scale, assuming that you're just starting out. Right? Make deadlines for yourself that push you to do the work, push you to get things done, and then would be punishing if you miss them. Right? Set up some sort of negative reinforcement system at the end of that deadline so that if you miss it, there really is a consequence and you really do have to do something or you lose something if you don't hit that deadline. Right? This is going to allow you to get hours of work done with focus because you know that you have a deadline, you know what you're avoiding. And it's going to make being lazy super hard here because if you miss the deadline, there's going to be a negative result that you do not want. So there's actual incentive on top of if you already did the prior two steps and solved the issues, the core reasons that you're lazy. If you set the deadline, it's just going to force you to work harder, faster, and produce quality work in a short time span. This is how I truly overcame laziness as a procrastinator, right? A chronic procrastinator. I figured out my reasons why. I made sure to adopt the right mindset to doing work that you don't want to do, right? Have that eagerness and think that you are going to learn something about yourself or the work just by doing it. And then when you have those big chunks of work that you want to get done, create guidelines to do it and then give yourself those deadlines. Create deadlines to force yourself to do it once you have everything mapped out. And you will get an incredible amount of work done in a short time and you will instantly become more productive. Right? If you are still struggling in your work and your productivity and you want to be more productive than you currently are, and you need clarity on where to go in your business and what you're doing wrong, then schedule a one-on-one call with me, and I guarantee that I will help make you not only more productive, but give you clarity and direction on what your next step should be. It is well worth it, well worth the price that I'm charging, and I hope that you will get even more value and will be willing to return after you actually schedule the call. I hope this video was valuable. I hope you're enjoying your day. And as always, stay blessed.